Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everyone, to our mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's getting the Dragon Balls to wish for panties with me tonight?
This is Kyle, and I am living well, living my life with the Kame style.
So we're here to talk about a game that I didn't know existed, except for, thank you YouTube, because when I was watching random Dragon Ball videos at one point, and this was pointed out to me in multiple YouTube videos, I went, hey, if they're all saying it, maybe there's a reason. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure, developed by Dimps, the same studio that did the Budokai series, actually, I'm pretty sure. I should check that before I open my mouth, but yes, I am right. Okay. So, and this is a Game Boy Advance game published by Bandai Europe and Atari in North America. Hey, remember that company? And it came out originally in 2004 in Japan and 2005 in Europe. Well, we didn't get to 2006. Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a late, isn't that a late Game Boy? Yeah, that's a late Game Boy Advance release. That's not that far. The DS was already out.
Yeah, and the DS had come out by then.
Wow. I bet. I bet this game flew under the radar then. Have you ever heard of this game before until I randomly posted it on the Discord?
You know, I had not, actually. I have played a bunch of the Dragon Ball Z games, the Legacy Goku and the Budokai series, but I had not really got ventured into any of the Dragon Ball games. But I love the series. I mean, I've seen the OG Dragon Ball Z, Super, Daima. I've seen it all, so jumped at the chance to play a Dragon Ball game that when I looked it up, it looked super cool. So I was like, yeah, I'll play that. Looks like a good time.
And it literally is a Dragon Ball game, not Dragon Ball Z. Like, you don't get it. That is impressive.
I mean, the focus, especially in video games, is really Dragon Ball Z, just because they have all the transformations and the powers and everything else. But I don't know,
just more to it.
Yep, but like the Dragon Ball, there's a lot of charm to the original Dragon Ball series, which I felt like this game did a pretty good job of capturing. Actually,
I had forgotten.
Nice little adventure.
I forgot how much charm there is to original Dragon Ball. Like, I want to say over 10 years ago now, before I met my wife, I was just going through a depression, and I had ended up watching all of original Dragon Ball and all of Dragon Ball Z at that time. Oh, not all Dragon Ball Z, but a good chunk of it. But I watched all Dragon Ball and was like, this reminded me, yeah, Dragon Ball is actually really fun. Like, this is a truncated version of it, but it tells the whole story almost.
Yeah, pretty much. It covers, all the way up until Goku defeats King Piccolo. So really the only thing we miss is him growing
fighting
Piccolo Jr.
But also when he fights Piccolo Jr., he's a little bit more grown up, so I think that's why that's not in here.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they wanted it to all to be Kid Goku.
Yes.
They probably didn't want to make the sprites. To be honest.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. Like it seems like that was a logical stopping point.
No, it was. I wasn't upset with them stopping there either. I'm like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, this game is a side-scroller beat 'em up with a couple boss fights that kind of feel like you're playing a fighting game.
Yep.
I think that's the best way to describe it.
And a couple of strange flying levels.
Yeah. I kind of feel like you're in like a on-rails shooter, maybe is the correct term for that.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot more to this game than you would think.
Absolutely. Like for as simple as it is, it's very complex.
Yeah, and it's really fun. Like, I mean, there's no experience bar. There's nothing like that, unfortunately, which I do love in my games. And I was bummed that that's not an option here, but didn't take away from the game. Like, no. I wasn't bored playing this. Like, this is mostly a platformer. You run through almost the entire Dragon Ball thing we're talking about. Like, you have the Red Ribbon Army. You get to fight. Who the hell is the first villain or the first arc? Oh, the first arc getting the when you get in the Dragon Balls and you fight.
Yeah,
God, what the hell is the name of that
Pilaf,
king? Pilaf, thank you.
Emperor Pilaf and Mai and the dog guy. I don't know his name.
Don't either. I did laugh that I was like, why is the one of the his helpers is not a child? I'm like, why is May not a child? I'm like, oh yeah, that happens later.
Yeah, because they're in Dragon Ball, she's an adult.
I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, because like that's kind of the cool part about playing this game, right? Is you get some of those cuts because those guys don't appear at all in Dragon Ball Z, but then they show back up in Super, and so like the fan base
Which
is
is
like familiar
weird.
with them, but the original version of them is very different from
Yeah, what
the
we get
Super
in Super.
version.
But like the way this game worked, it was just a simple platformer action game, but it's a ton of fun. Everything feels good. Like I have played two other licensed games since I played this, and this is a lot better than both of them. So like they do something in this game that really works.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I don't know
it's
how I feel about that.
the graphics are fine because it's GBA, and then like the platform is pretty fluid, and like the combos are easy to do,
But
and
you
it's
see,
like the controls are super simple. Like you just press the B button and the A
yeah.
button, you charge up your Kamehameha.
But see, I don't think the graphics are just fine. I think the graphics are like phenomenal in this. Like I was surprised how good the sprite work is in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
especially
I
for
really like it.
they did a good job, and like I
They get so
appreciated.
many deep cuts too. Like
Yeah.
I mean, did you expect to see a bunch of Red Ribbon Army? Like they even get in like almost all the like a lot of the different fights that he does.
Yeah,
They get
they
Master.
get most of the
Yeah.
generals in there, and yeah, it was pretty wild.
And I think
But I
there's
mean,
even like a fight or two you're supposed to lose. Because there was one fight against Master Tao. I think that's the name of the assassin, right? Oh,
yeah, you lose the first fight against
you can
General
win.
Tao, and then yeah, you can, but it doesn't matter. And then you
No,
lose the first fight against Piccolo.
you can win
But
that one too.
yeah, but again, it doesn't really matter.
No, if you, because I beat Mass Tao, and then the game just like, oh, you win, then you get shot and die anyway. So I'm like, yeah, good. They're like, nope, you didn't win.
Yep. And then you go and train, and then you go fight him again, and that second fight is like just stupid easy. You just like beat him down so
It's
fast.
so cool because it's him coming back now that he's stronger. And I forgot that the stuff with like Korin was that, yeah, you just got to chase me, and that's what made you stronger.
Yep.
Because you learned to be faster.
I did. I think it was cool how they implemented some of the training stuff he did into the mini games as well.
Same.
The breaking the rocks and catching Korin and just all that kind of stuff. I thought those were fun.
What really does a good job of trying to capture the Dragon Ball feel of Dragon Ball. Like, not Z, not what comes later, but the original show. And like, we don't get that often.
Yeah.
We never get that.
No, pretty much never. It's always. I mean, adult Goku is just so much cooler, which like I get, but the Dragon Ball story is just it's so much. It's whimsical in a way almost, and it is a lot of fun, and playing through it was enjoyable because it just like you said, it goes beat by beat through, and you.
Were you surprised how much fun it was?
I was like, I mean, I expected it to be decent, and then I was playing it, and it was a blast. It's like, man, this is great because, like I said, the controls are easy and smooth, and you go through it. I appreciated that Goku had the costume change when he's got his blue gi to start, and then he becomes Master Roshi's student, and he gets his orange gi for the rest of the game.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the first before he trains with Master Roshi, so the first like four levels of the game, he has his blue gi on.
Yeah, I just looked up. I'm watching the video and I just skipped forward. Like I didn't even pay attention that they did that. Like I saw it, but my brain didn't even put two and two together. It was a change. I was just having I beat this game I think in a day because I just couldn't put it down.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I was having so much fun.
It's pretty addicting in terms of like because the levels are short, and so you're like, okay, let's play another level. Like, this is fun to play through.
And it does a good job of always having something going on. Like, there's a couple mazes, but they don't do it too much. And it breaks it up with fights, too. Like, the little boss fight things were kind of fun. Like, you fight... I like how Krillin was an asshole at first. I forgot that he was like that originally.
Yep.
I thought that was a good touch.
He's a little douchebag in the beginning.
He's like, oh, you found the rock? Let me see that. Oh, thanks. And he runs off with it.
Yep. I mean, that's a good like showing too of because in the original Dragon Ball, like Goku was really like naive, right? Because he was just not exposed to the world at all.
No.
And so, like, him believing that Krillin would just be like, oh, let me check it. Like, why would he think anything different?
I just forgot how cute that was. And I forgot how, like, Krillin, isn't really his friend at first, obviously. He's his rival.
Yep. And then...
But, like, even in the first tournament, they have you fight characters from that tournament. And even though I haven't watched this show in close to 10 years, I had vague memories of the characters that he's fighting. And I just smiled.
Yep. Yeah, the first time you get to the world tournament mission was pretty cool because it's a total change of pace of the game because you've been doing the side scrolling beat 'em up 2D platforming stuff and they're like, nope, here we go, classic Dragon Ball Z fighting game tournament style.
Just works so well too.
And yeah, and the mechanics for those battles were pretty cool too. It wasn't just it was just beat the other guy up, but you had to break.
Yes,
you had to like break through their little green gauge before you could do any damage to them. And like once you did that, it turned into break the guard, send him up into the air, smack him down into the ground, repeat, like hit him with the Kamehameha if you're feeling good.
I did that a few times, and every time it felt good. I would try to get it just because.
Yeah.
So, random question, because I can't remember my Dragon Ball as much as I wish I did. Did Goku lose to Jackie Chun in the first tournament?
Yeah, he does. Jackie Chun beats him, and I'm pretty sure he loses to Tien in the second one as well.
No, I thought he beats Tien, but I could be wrong. It's been a while. I mean, again, this is a very brief story. Like, you do get cutscenes, which are just text and,
it's super truncated.
But again, I think that this is a good way for someone who's played Dragon Ball Z and is curious about Dragon Ball, but is never actually going to put the time into it. Like, here you go, play this 4 hour game, and you will get an idea of what Dragon Ball is, of the story.
Yep.
Like I had just watched Superhero movie not too long ago, and seeing everything from the Red Ribbon Army really hit a chord with me that I didn't expect. Like, I was like, how do I have nostalgic for this? And I do, and I shouldn't, because I watched it 10 years ago, but that wasn't that long ago. I wasn't a kid I did watch Dragon Ball when I was a kid. I remember catching it randomly on TV and going, what is this? Because it was nothing like what I normally watched.
Well, yeah, it is pretty out there. And I mean, for me too, like I remember, because I saw Dragon Ball Z first because it was on Toonami.
Yeah. And
I assume, like most of us who've been on this show who like Dragon Ball Z, like that's where we saw that, because that's how the West like first really got exposed to anime.
Yeah, I don't even remember who it was that randomly had Dragon Ball on from time to time, and that's where I first found it. Yeah, but I have no memory of like what channel or what time or anything. I just know that I saw some Dragon Ball as a kid.
Yeah, and so I remember Dragon Ball airing as well when I was a kid, but like I said, a little bit after Dragon Ball Z, but then seeing it and like originally being like, well, this is kind of lame because I'd seen the cool stuff first, but then especially like rewatching it later when I was a little bit older, in college probably, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then, the link of it between, it and Journey to the West.
I unfortunately don't know much about Journey to the West.
Sun Wukong. I mean, Goku is basically just Sun Wukong.
I mean, yeah, I know that, but like I've never actually like looked into it much. Like I've always been curious about, there's a game for PlayStation 1 thing called Sayuki Journey to the West. It's a strategy RPG.
Oh.
Never played it, but as a connoisseur of RPGs, I've always been like, check that out someday in my life.
Yeah.
So one of those random things that's always like lives in my head rent free.
Yep.
But no, this game does such a good job with the boss fights. Like you fight the ninja, when you fight the ninja guy, like becomes more ninjas. I'm like, I vaguely remember this guy from the show.
Yeah.
Like just deep cuts. Like they really went into it and tried to work in, like you were saying earlier, all the generals from the Red Ribbon Army. Like they made a real effort to give you a good Dragon Ball experience.
Absolutely. They really they showed off that series incredibly well.
And for this to come out in 2006 in America, like for a system that isn't even really probably selling that well anymore, like this is a deep cut.
Right. Which is like unfortunate because like you mentioned at the beginning, kind of flew under everyone's radar, I mean, mine included. But
I never
no,
knew about it actually until YouTube videos. Like that's what did it for me.
Yeah,
Because I think this is also considered the best Dragon Ball game ever.
I would believe that.
To be fair, I don't think there's a lot to pick from.
Yeah, I don't think the competition is stiff.
No, I from what I watched, no.
And I would imagine most of them are, just traditional arcade style fighting games.
Well, mostly fighting games. I mean, but I think that this did good because they did something so unique with it, and they created a different type of game. Like, I mean, for the most part, I would try to fight all the enemies. It got to a point where I said, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore."
Yep, and you kind of run.
No experience.
Yeah, there was really no point aside from getting a higher score.
And they do drop a lot of items, though. That did push me. That pushes me in every fighting game, or not fighting game, any game. Like, if you're going to... I mean, this game is very friendly with healing items and just all sorts of stuff.
Yep. And there was no, like, leveling up, right? But there were power-ups to, upgrades. You got the health upgrades, and you could upgrade your ki as well.
Like because you can find teapots in the world that make you strong, that upgrade your stats.
Yeah. And I mean, that was pretty cool too, to, have to, there wasn't a ton of, side exploration, but there were, you see a door, you're like, well, I better go through that because I might get an upgrade to my health or my...
I mean, I did. I tried to explore as much as I could, and I was never bored playing this game. Even though, like, I would skip enemies later on, I still was not bored. Like, I was still having a really good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed the entire time playing through. And so did you just play through the one time, like the story to get credits roll, and then that was it? Or did you...
Yeah, I started the game as Krillin. I saw a little bit as Krillin, then I turned it off and walked away.
So I played through it with Krillin as well, and it's, I mean, fine, it's the same, it's the same game, but I will say hitting the flying enemies with Krillin is a lot harder because you don't have the power pole.
Oh yeah, because you made that comment in the chat.
Yeah, because the flying enemies, the flying enemies were really the only annoying enemies for me in that game, and they weren't even that bad. Like you just had to jump, swing your stick at them. But with Krillin, like he didn't have the same range, and so they were a bit of a nuisance playing through as him.
I was curious what they were going to do for Nimbus, since he doesn't have Nimbus, but they give him Nimbus anyway, which they had to.
They give him the Dark Nimbus, because I was curious about that too, because he's not pure of heart, so he can't ride the flying Nimbus.
Oh, that's what it was, isn't it? Because
there's like a couple of episode different times where people try to get on the flying Nimbus and they just fall through it like it's a cloud, because it's a cloud.
Yes. One part that really made me smile in this game, because I don't know why, but I have a fondness for. They even worked in the random like alien looking robot that he fights at one point in like an undersea cave in the show, and they have that as a boss fight in this game.
Yeah.
I had a big smile on my face because I like that character. I don't have a good reason. I don't know why, but for some reason, that is one of those bosses or characters that I just like. I like that design.
Yeah, she was cool, and I mean, it just goes to like the deep cuts of the game.
Yeah, they get in the world tournament. They have you fight all three of the fights in there, and they have you fight everyone in the tournament that Goku fights.
Yep.
That made me happy to see. Like, they didn't have to do that.
And then in the second world tournament, you fight through everyone again. Fight Krillin, and
they were fun.
They were. Those fights were pretty cool. I enjoyed the tournament sections.
It was funny watching the Red Ribbon Army stuff and just seeing all the Nazi symbolism that they were going for there.
Oh yeah.
Because that's something that would have blew over, I bet, a lot of kids' heads. Because it's like, yeah, this is all... Like, one of the guys is literally a blonde-haired, like, blue-eye-looking, muscular guy who's fighting with the Red Ribbon Army. I'm like, yeah, that's a Nazi reference right there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like General Blue.
Yep, it's General Blue.
You're like, okay, I see what this is.
But it hit a nice touch for me. And I don't know, I was just really like, this is so much fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like, I mean, the enemies were, that there was not a very wide variety of enemy types.
No, but
there was
they're
enough,
okay.
and there was there was a good distinction between when you're fighting Red Ribbon Army enemies versus just regular thugs of the series that you fought.
Yeah, like Pelop's men, you fight at different points, and
Yep.
then later on you have Piccolo's stuff where there's like the demons that they got. Like they have Krillin get killed, following.
Yeah, like the whole thing, and you fight, you fight Tambourine and you fight Drum, and you really,
They fit everybody in.
yeah, they did. No, it's pretty impressive.
Like it's not something that I did not expect. So I had watched some videos of this game and I've seen trailers and I knew what I was getting into, but there was a lot more to this game than I expected. Even though I have watched a ton of Dragon Ball compilation videos where people review every single Dragon Ball game, and like I was still surprised by how much I enjoyed this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I mentioned it in the Facebook chat too. Like the amount of content that there was in this game was shocking.
Uh-huh.
Like, because it was, you play through the story mode, and then the menu changes, and you get the two modes added, the extra mode and the Krillin mode. And
Oh, what's the extra mode?
the extra mode has all the red doors that are in the game are open.
Oh.
And so you can play through the game and go through the red doors and unlock more characters.
Oh, for versus mode?
Yeah, because then there's the one-on-one mode where you can fight all the characters that you've beaten in like the boss fights with them.
All right, that's a nice touch. I was wondering about those doors, but I did not realize there was an extra mode where you go into all those doors. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so like I said, there's tons of replayability, which makes sense because like this is a Game Boy game like that or Game Boy Advance. That era of game was kind of like that, right? Where it's like taking this game on a road trip, you want to be able to play it for 5 hours. Like the story only takes you 2.5 hours to beat. Like what are you gonna do?
I mean, I could have seen Kid Mike if I would have been a kid in 2006. I was not. I was graduating high school. I could have seen me playing this game and really enjoying it because, like, even if you don't care about Dragon Ball, it's still a really fun action platform. Like, yeah, it's not that hard.
It's just a fun game, and there is, there's the 3 difficulty settings. I don't know. I played on easy because I did not want to challenge myself.
Never play anything else.
As I've gotten older, I have toned down. Like I used to be like, yeah, I'll beat games on the hardest difficulty, and now I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna beat this on whatever difficulty I feel like.
The only time I have beaten games on a hard difficulty, I can name the 2 of them. Alan Wake 1 for achievements, and I loved it, and Born Conspiracy for 360. But you didn't see that one coming. It's a very random game, but I really loved it when I played it, and I beat it on hard. It was not easy, but I don't know what it was, but no, Alan Wake 1 I still love. I don't know. I've never replayed Born Conspiracy since the 360 days, but I think I think about it every so often.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
It's just one of those games that stuck with me. But like with this, it one thing I do want to bring up, this game is trapped to the Game Boy Advance for obvious license reasons.
Yes.
And it sucks. Like I wish companies could find a way to like get past that and like, here, Konami's done it a few things, but we ain't gonna see this come back. I mean, published by Atari. Atari don't even exist anymore.
Oh, right? Yeah. this game will be forever lost, which is just it's so tragic. There's so many great games like that are just lost to time.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big emulation guy, and I will help people figure out emulation and where to go. I mean, I'm quiet about it to a degree, but like, this is a game that I couldn't have experienced if it wasn't for emulation.
Oh, same. Like I don't even own a system that could play a Game Boy Advance cartridge right now, I don't think.
Oh, like,
so,
if you own it, you buy a Steam Deck, that can play a Game Boy Advance cartridge just fine.
Well, yeah, I actually did not get a Steam Deck, but I got a Battle XP G350 emulation
I'll do it too.
toy. And yeah, that was bad rabbit hole for me to go down because now I can play a lot of retro video games really, really easily.
Hey, that's my goal this year. Because I'm like I've said, I'm trying to beat 100 games, so I'm playing tons of little stuff like this. A lot of 4 or 5 hour games, some big RPGs too, because I want to. But the only way I'm going to beat 100 games if I play little shit like this too.
Yeah, you got to be able to, because I mean, 100 games, like that's 2 games a week.
Yep.
So you can't beat 140-hour games in a year. That's just.
Well, I mean, some people could. I cannot.
I guess you'd have to not have a job that's not playing video games.
Yes, pretty much. I also record. The other goal is to record every game that I beat for the show. So that adds an extra layer to it.
Yep. But I don't know. I think that's super cool. I think that's a really neat challenge that you.
It was for some weird reason last year in November. I got that idea. I don't know what happened in November 2024 that made me go, I'm going to beat a bunch of games this year and keep distracted. No idea what prompted me to do that.
Gee.
That's where it came from. That's what made me go, yeah, I'm just going to beat a ton of games this year. Fuck it. I don't want to pay attention to the world. I am, but I don't want to.
That makes sense. It's games are a good escape from reality, right? That's why we play games, to enjoy, to have fun, which I certainly had a bunch of fun playing this game.
It made me want to watch Dragon Ball again.
Me too, a little bit. And especially like I said, I was on the last, March, what are you playing? I said I watched Dragon Ball Daima, and that had the itch too. And so now I'm just like, man, I really should watch Dragon Ball again.
I've tried, but I can't. I fall off anime quickly. It's hard for me to stick with anime for some reason. Hard for me to watch anything that isn't a documentary lately. I've been that's all I watch are documentaries. I don't know why. That's just my thing now.
And movies for the podcast.
Movies for the podcast, yes. But I watch a lot of stuff when I'm editing.
Yeah.
And that's become documentaries lately.
Makes sense. Those are.
Yeah. This made me want to watch the Dragon Ball. I'm realizing how much I'm in a mood for Dragon Ball lately. I've been on this show. We do it off and on now because I just can't get enough. I'm just so into it. It actually all became. It all started for a sad reason, but I'm glad I'm not glad it happened, but when Akira Toriyama passed away, that's what got me to finally be like, okay, I need to check out Dragon Ball again.
Yeah.
Because Joe had suggested that we do Dragon Ball Gods of Fury or whatever that movie is called, and that opened up a rabbit hole for me, and that's how this game came to be for us.
I mean, it is a franchise that there is a ton of content for if you're trying to lose time.
Oh, another thing I want to mention, they even bring in the Gohan fight in this movie when he fights Grandpa Gohan come back from the dead, which I forgot about.
Oh yeah, you go to Fortune Teller Baba's palace and you fight. Yeah, thankfully they truncate that a little bit because in the show he fights more of those.
Oh, I didn't know they truncated it.
Yeah, there's more. It's more than just 2 fights. But yeah, he does he fights his Grandpa Gohan, which is pretty cool.
I really appreciated that, having Grandpa Gohan in here. And I swear, when you fight that demon guy, that looks like you're on a toilet. I swear that's what it looks like to me. That you're on a big, giant toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like toilet paper in the middle, a toilet paper roll. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's what I saw.
Yeah. For the most part, though, the level designs were good. And,
they weren't overly complicated. They weren't... the game forced me to learn how to run, because I didn't know how to run.
Yeah, you gotta double tap direction you want to go.
Because there's some rocks, and I couldn't get past the rocks, so I looked up a video. I'm like, oh, and then as soon as I saw him run, I'm like, well, I can run, and then I just never stopped running. I just ran the rest of the game. Yeah,
that's the way to do it, is to run, because you can start. I mean, it's easier to start the combos when you're running, and you beat up the enemies pretty easily.
You really do.
And I do like that you can, similar to how it is, because bullets don't actually hurt Goku, you can punch the projectiles, like when the Red Ribbon Army is shooting their guns at you and stuff, you can just negate them.
Just deflect them.
Yep, it's great. You're like, all right, cool, this fits.
But they found a way to make it a really fun experience.
Yeah, no, they definitely did.
As I was kind of saying earlier, it upsets me that this game is trapped to the Game Boy Advance, and such a late release too, because I bet a lot of people did not play this game when it came out.
Oh, I'm sure not. I cannot imagine.
I'm sure this is an emulation type game for a ton of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no way people were running into this game 2006 Game Boy Advance. I'm also trying to play a lot of Game Boy Advance games because that is a generation that I completely skipped as a kid. I had a Game Boy, I had a Game Boy Color, and I had a DS, but I never got a Game Boy Advance. And when I first got a DS, I tried to play a few Game Boy Advance games and bought a bunch of RPGs like Golden Sun, Breath of Fire, and I never even got around to them because I moved in with my girlfriend in 2006, so I wasn't really playing games. I was trying to be an adult.
Yep.
So that didn't work out that great. And I was playing Final Fantasy 11 instead.
Well, fair.
That took
Yeah,
my time.
I played quite a few Game Boy Advance games, but by the time this one came out, I would have had a DS, and 2006. I was in like 8th grade, freshman in high school, and so I was into other things.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the kind of game that would really, I feel, appeal to everybody anyway.
No, it's definitely a fans of the series type of game.
This is just not that type of game. Like,
no,
that everybody would just pick up like, oh, look what I found randomly. Like, and it depends on if you even cared for Dragon Ball. Like, for me, I would have been like, I don't give a shit about Dragon Ball right now that much. I mean, that's not how the story goes now for me, but it's how the story would have went for me at the time.
Oh yeah, if I would have seen this, when I was like at the game store in 2006, I'm like, whatever, I'm getting something else. No,
yeah, it's
no
just
way.
not one that would really grab you.
No, but it does really grabs you.
The game is not super expensive, but I'm guessing that some of these are fake because there's one guy selling it for $25 new. Yeah, that's gotta be a fake.
Yeah, there's one for $358 that I'm seeing.
There's one for $650. It's partial seal.
Ah.
And a couple people are selling just the cart for $90. So my guess is that the $25 stuff I think is just fake.
That's a ripoff.
Repos. Yeah, those are definitely repos.
Whatever.
Well, it's not even the two ones that are 22 and 25. I bet are from I bet they're from the same. Not the same seller, but you can tell it's a fake seller. It's like, just a bunch of letters and then a year type of thing, or letters and it's. I mean, they're repo carts, but because the regular game is like $90 for the cart. Somebody's selling $250 for the cart, and so this game is not cheap.
No, this is not. Yeah, this is not one that you're getting if you didn't already have it.
No, and I don't think anybody should pay that kind of money for a game in the first place.
No, that's outrageous.
Like, I mean, the most I've spent on a Funko Pop is $40 for one. And like the most that I spent on a game, 60, 70, for a brand new release or something. Like I can't, everything I buy is cheaper.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Steam gamer now.
I don't think I've ever bought more than just like a standard full price game. I'm not into like the chests or any of that kind of stuff. Like, no, how's the cheapest way I can get this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, especially something like this, like they're not making any money off it. Dimps isn't going to see a dime of your money. Atari doesn't exist. Like,
nope.
Play it any way you can.
I feel zero guilt emulating this game.
No, and you shouldn't. So you should feel guilt if you ever emulate Sonic and the Brotherhood of Evil, I think it's called, the DS game. You should feel guilt that you dared thinking that game would be fun. That is one of my big letdowns for me, talking about, oh man, I bought that game for DS. Ooh, I liked it until it got too hard.
Oh, and then it was just...
all your abilities are locked behind button presses, so you have to do tap this, and that's how you do your abilities. And let's say you can't emulate it. I've tried, it won't work.
Yeah, I mean DS emulation is tough.
Well, it's something about that game.
Yeah,
because I've tried to emulate it different years on different devices, and I've looked it up. It's just some glitch there.
Gotcha.
So I was glad they worked in the teen fight. I was a little bummed that they didn't have the final fight where Piccolo comes back for the tournament 3 years later when he's an adult, or not adult but a teenager. But I just saw it as they didn't want to.
Yeah, they didn't want to do tall Goku, which I get, but also I would not have cared one bit if they would have just included that with the same Goku sprite and just not changed anything. And I don't think anyone would have cared. Honestly, I was like, well, this isn't what it looked like. It's like, who cares? This is how it functions in the video game. They made that sacrifice.
Yeah,
but it did end at a good spot. Yeah, because you never get to see Kami pretend to be whatever human he pretends to be, and then gets taken out by Piccolo. That whole last arc.
I don't remember any of that.
Of that is so wild.
I do not remember that. I was wondering about that. I'm like, where's Kami? Because you don't see Kami, and I'm like, I know Kami's around because the Dragon Balls don't exist without Kami.
Well,
And Kami is because I know like Piccolo kills Shenron in this, which I forgot about.
yeah,
At the same time, I don't
I
think you can kill
kind
Shenron.
of forgot about that too. And then they're talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They Dragon Ball just, I mean, did so much. It was a grand adventure. It really was. And you know, playing through the game was a miniature grand adventure.
The only like real difference with Krillin, besides like not having the pole, is he can do that jump kind of whenever, right? That Goku can only do at certain spots.
Yeah, he can do it whenever because he can't.
The game said so.
It doesn't go as high for him. It's like the only way that he can get up to certain areas. And he moves his run, his dash attack is different than Goku's, which is a little bit annoying.
Okay, I thought about playing through the game of Krillin. I did. I started. I'm like, this is the same game. I'm good. But it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It was just that the clock is ticking.
Yeah, you're trying to kind of play a game and move on to the next one. I took a little more leisurely approach, and so I did play through a little bit more of it. But
hey, I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I didn't do the complete full experience, but I can imagine having been like if this game came out when I was 10 or 11 years old, I would have played this for so many hours. Yeah, I'm gonna get all the I'm gonna play through to get all the characters and just repeat the battles over and over again. Like I totally would have been into that.
Yeah, I was. If they would have done different bosses or something a little different, I would have played through it because I got to the first boss, which I did remember vaguely from the cartoon too. It's some like giant one-eyed bear-looking thingy.
Yep.
I couldn't believe how much of this game was how much of this show is in my memory. Thanks, like just there somewhere.
It's wild what like the smallest thing will trigger. And you're like, oh yeah, I totally remember all of this.
Yeah, I remember the alien that kills Krillin, or not alien, but the monster, the green monster thingy. Like, maybe our alien, because technically Kami's from Namek.
Yeah, they're actually listed, like, in the Dragon Ball wiki stuff, they're listed as being Namekians, Tambourine and Drum are.
Okay.
Because they were born from King Piccolo, because Nameks, I mean, that's how Nameks reproduce, right? They lay eggs.
Oh, okay.
They're like Nameks are like plants. Namekians are.
See, I don't remember a lot of this because it's been so long.
Well, all of that's from like Dragon Ball Z because like originally, originally he's just like a demon, right? And they're not. Really, like you don't find out that they're aliens until Raditz shows up.
Yeah,
you don't find out that anyone's an alien until Raditz shows up. Which, speaking of, the only miss from this game that I was kind of sad about, and I get why they didn't do it, was that Goku never turns into his Uzaru form, the Great Ape. You never have to deal with that.
God, that happens in the first in Dragon Ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, because that's how Grandpa Gohan dies. Is that?
Oh, he turns into an ape and kills him, but he turns into an ape like in the actual series too, and they have to deal with it.
Yeah, like a couple of times, and they have to deal with it. And
who takes out his tail? Somebody takes out that tail. I do vaguely remember that.
Yes.
Man, you're gonna make me watch Dragon Ball again, damn it!
Oh yeah, but you gotta check it out. It's great.
It's funny. Okay, I was thinking about that too, and I love how they did work in where Oolong jumps up and goes, I wish for the pair of panties, or the most comfortable underwear, but I'm pretty sure it was something else in the.
Yeah, he wishes for panties.
He's like, I didn't know what to say.
Right, of all the things. Well, and I mean, there was a lot of somewhat perverted stuff in the original Dragon Ball series, like Master Roshi.
Oh God, yes,
is
pervert,
pretty perverted.
Oh God, yeah. So, they do a lot of shit with him.
Yeah.
So also, I think Oolong, Oolong when you first see him has a green hat with a red star in it, so that's a Korean reference.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Which it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so does the Nazi references of the Red Ribbon Army. That makes sense too, because like it's for them, it's different than us.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I want to play more.
Different.
I kind of want to dig into almost all the Dragon Ball games for Game Boy Advance, and this is on my list. But we'll see. There's some look bad, some look really bad.
Yeah, you're gonna come across some pretty rough ones probably.
Well, one I can't do because one's a card game, and I'm not even gonna try. So Yeah, I'm not even like, we're not even going there. And the one's a fighting game that looks god awful, but some of them I do want to. I want to play Legacy of Goku 1. There's a Dragon Ball GT game that's just a beat 'em up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Legacy of Goku 1 it's a lot
rough.
different than Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury, and it's a lot harder.
Yeah, I haven't played it since I played it on a computer. It was one of my early emulation days without a controller.
Gotcha.
And I beat it, but I've always been tempted to, because we've done Legacy Goku 2, we've done Boo's Fury. I've been tempted that's on my list to get to coming up here.
Nice. Did you do Supersonic Warriors?
No, not yet. Is that the good one or is that the bad one?
I think that's the bad one.
The DS version looks awesome for that, by the way. We did the Game Boy Color game, Legendary Super Saiyan Warriors or something like that it's called, or Legendary Super Warriors. I really like that game.
Yeah.
Oh, also a card game, but a good game.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what will be next for Dragon Ball. I don't know if I'll do a movie next. I don't know really what my plan is yet.
You got tons of options.
You're not wrong.
There's lots of games, lots of movies, and a bunch of episodes of animes.
I am curious about the GT one because I know nothing about GT, so I might run through that, but we'll see. So I don't know. I have no idea what's next for me in my Dragon Ball.
That one's the GT one is similar to this. Oh, that's
yes,
cool.
but not as good.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but I heard bad things about it, where people had only good things to say about this game.
That's unfortunate.
So. But I mean, sometimes a basic beat 'em up is just fun.
Yeah,
sometimes you just want that.
One of my favorite games from when I was a kid was Battletoads Double Dragon 2 for the Super Nintendo.
No, I think Supersonic Warriors is okay. It's another fighting game that I think is awful for the Game Boy Advance. I think this one is okay.
The Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, that one is rough.
Yeah, that's the bad one.
Yeah, that one sucks. I played that when I was a kid. I was so disappointed.
and it's like, I haven't forgotten.
No, I have not.
I always think of the Indiana Jones joke, like, where did it hurt you? Here it hurts. Here. But yeah, I do want to play Supersonic Warriors, actually. So, maybe. Oh, no. Cool. I never know what I'm up to. I also want to play Budokai 2, because we did Budokai 1, and I want to do Budokai 2 with you.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely up for that.
Because I also never played Budokai 2. So, another new experience. I'm trying to get a lot of new experiences this year, too, on my video game quest. And yeah, so that's how we ended up here. Yep, Tai Ketsu or however. That's a terrible one I will never play.
Yeah. Unless
I just been like, okay, I gotta do them all.
You don't.
We can talk for half an hour. All right. I think we have circled this bush enough. We should go to the end. We should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And why don't you lead us in? Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on the shelf. It was an awesome experience. I would consider playing through it again at various points in my life because it's quick, it's easy, controls are nice, tight, fun story. It's a great game.
All right. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. This was a great experience. Like, this is the kind of game that I'm going to be recommending to people from now on. Be like, hey, you looking for a quick Game Boy Advance game to play through? Pick this up. Like, you don't really even care for Dragon Ball. Pick this up, play through. I would recommend it to people for years because this was a great little experience. This was an amazing game. So I am so happy to have played it.
Me too.
Well, thank you, YouTube, for recommending it to me.
Yeah.
Where it came from, Gilly the Kid, I think, was one of the YouTubers that I found randomly who was talking about this and recommended it. So, yeah.
Nice.
All right, I guess we'll just go to plugs. If you want to hear the rest of our Dragon Ball content, we've done a bunch of movies, we've done a few games. I'm trying to get a bunch of Dragon Ball content now on this podcast. There wasn't any before. You can catch all of that. All the Dragon Ball episodes will be in the show notes. Definitely check all those out. If you want to support the show, if you want to suggest things for the show that I will eventually get to, we have a Patreon for Little Dog. Vote in our Patreon polls. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Great way to support the show. If you want to be on the show, if you want to suggest things for the show that I will someday get to, or you want to lurk, we have a Discord. We're always happy to have new people just join the Discord and just be there. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at HellHasFairy. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram, and check out a Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. I'm sure he's talking Final Fantasy. Maybe he's almost done by the time you hear this, because it'll be May. And check out absolutely the best podcast, Work in Progress. Zach is on the show quite often. He talks about the MCU movies and MCU adjacent movies. So definitely go check out his podcast. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, TikTok. Sometimes I post stuff, nothing too much. And rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.